Chicago White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
As the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. And yesterday, a 10-8 loss to the Mariners snapped a 9-game winning streak, the longest for the White Sox since 2010. And today, they look to start a new one as the rubber match is up for grabs. It's Game 3, Sox-Mariners next. We are coming to you from the city beautiful Chicago, Illinois, where this afternoon Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Adam Dunn, it's Diane Viciato, Chris Sale in the Sox as it gets set to butt heads with Ichiro Suzuki and the Seattle Mariners. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone as we get set to bring you the finale of this three-game set, and it will be the rubber match. As you know, the Sox took the opener 7-4. Big night for Gordon Beckham. And yesterday, in 12 innings, it was 10-8 bad guys. So this afternoon, the young man on the bump for us who has really been pitching well.
Chris Sale 6-2, and he's been about as good as anybody in baseball. He's 1-0 lifetime against Seattle, and after that brief stint where they were going to move him in the bullpen because of some elbow problems, he hasn't shown any difficulties whatsoever. Last time out, he struck out 15. He pitched into the 8th inning. He's been absolutely brilliant, and he's devastating on left-handers. And by the way, no picnic against right-handers either. Kevin Millwood goes to the mound, and Millwood this year has been okay. Lifetime against the Sox, he's 1-6, but his ERA is around 3.5, so he's a good pitcher. He's pitched in tough luck against the Sox, but he's a veteran. He's been out there for years. He's a guy who knows how to pitch, but today it's a red-hot day at the ballpark, meaning it's going to be very lively. So we caught a break last night. Cleveland lost to Minnesota in Cleveland. We have a game-and-a-half lead in first place. Let's see if we can add to that a bit.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all, Ford. Drive one. The new wireless receiver from AT&T Uburst. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. BMO Harris Bank. Helping money make sense. BMO Harris Bank. NA member FDIC. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. And by Toyota. With great specials on fuel-efficient vehicles. Right now, you can get a lot for less at your local Toyota dealer.
Final game of the series between the White Sox and the Seattle Mariners. I'm Chris Bowden, down outside the White Sox dugout, pleased to be joined by the better half of the reigning AL Player of the Week, Jennifer Konerko, joining us, and it's a real special day here, a beautiful day for a cause I know is very special to you and Paul.
Yes, thanks for having us. Today is Foster Family Day at the Park, and that's for Children's Home and Aid, a great organization that helps foster kids and families in the state of Illinois.
And you have a special event coming up a week from tonight, too, right?
Yes, on June 10th at the Rocket Bar and Grill downtown, we have an event. The Bring Me Home campaign is hosting a fundraiser there. It starts at 6 o'clock, so you can get tickets at www.childrenshomeandaid.org.
Yeah, if you'd like to find out more information, it's a great cause that Paul and Jennifer have been behind for a long time. How did this all start? I know it's been several years since you and some of Paul's teammates and their wives got involved.
Yeah, we started in 2007 with Jim and Andrea Tomey, who are still involved, and it's been amazing, a great 6 seasons we've been doing this, bringing awareness to people, kids in need.
How did it first start out?
My mom and dad are foster parents in Arizona and have fostered many children and adopted many children, so we wanted to get involved in something like that.
It's been a great run. I know Paul has the day off today after the 9-game winning streak ended yesterday. He's always even-keeled around us. It's a little bit more fun around the house. He's a little more pumped up the way things have been going, not only for himself but for the team lately.
Yeah, he's been excited and happy, and things are going great. So we're just his cheerleader and the team's cheerleaders, and we'll just keep doing that for him. Let's
hope the winning continues. Once again, if you want more information about childrenshomeandaid.org, that is the website, www.childrenshomeandaid.org. And again, the big event coming up a week from tonight at Rocket Bar and Grill. We have White Sox baseball coming up next. Hawk and Steve will have the call of the first pitch as Chris Sale makes his way in from the mound. He had himself a dominating performance last time out, striking out 15 Tampa Bay Rays. He is on the mound tonight to try and give the White Sox this series against the Mariners. Hawk and Steve coming up after this timeout.
Baseball, it's 75 degrees, summer resort weather. A nice crowd on hand as the Sox look to rebound from that defeat yesterday, but they maintain their standing at a game and a half over Cleveland. And there's the matchup today. You see the record, Seattle, a young team, not playing as well as they would like, batting average, heavily favoring the Sox, runs per game, over a half point better. Home runs, obviously, we have a lot more power than they do, and the ERA pretty similar, actually, as Seattle's got some pretty good arms, and we're going to see one today in Kevin Millwood, the venerable Millwood, who's been around a long time. Time now for the Miller Time Seattle lineup. Eric Wedge is going to run them out this way. Ichiro leading it off, and then the switch hitter, Sean Figgins hitting second, Jesus Montero third, Justin Smoke, Dustin Ackley, Miguel Olivo, Michael Sanders had the big day yesterday, Alex Liddy, and Brendan Ryan. And the defense, and now that lineup behind Chris Sale. Fukudome, Lillibridge, and Rios in the outfield with Escobar, Ramirez, Beckham, and Dunn. Tyler Flowers behind the plate. And our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher is Chris Sale, who, by the way, is the American League Pitcher of the Month. So the month of May was very kind to Chris Sale, and Chris Sale is as red hot as anybody around. So he looks for win number 7. And the umpires for the game today. Got the crew chief, Joe West, behind the plate. Sam Holbrook at first. Andy Fletcher is at second. And Rob Drake is at third. So they've thrown a ball around the infield. They're in their Sunday red pinstripe at home. We're ready to play baseball, and I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Steve. Thank you very much. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for the finale of this 3-game set, the rubber match, and the third of 9 on this homestand. So Ichiro Suzuki gets set to lead it off. He comes in hitting at .271, 3 homers, and 19 RBIs. And the first pitch of the ball game is taken for a strike. Ichiro 3 for 11 in the series with 2 homers, those coming in his first 2 at-bats yesterday. Way outside. 1-1 to count. Mariners come in hitting at .236 as a club with a 4.02 team ERA. Nicely pitched inside, and there is out number 1. Ate him up. This is the 6th meeting between these two teams. In the first 5, Sox have won 4 of them. But that's not the whole story. Sox are 20-4 in the last 24 games.
And this doesn't seem like a big effort, but you have a 9-game win streak interrupted yesterday in extra innings at home, which you always hate to lose. It's a great day to bounce back. You don't want to see it slide down the hill. That's why Chris Sale and his performance today is of critical importance.
Well, this has ramifications for the next actually week to 10 days.
Okay, section 130, section 130.
As Figgins way out in front of that one. Hooks it foul. Yeah, if in fact Chris can have an easy, hopefully, in the perfect world, easy 7, maybe not too much stress involved in there, that would really benefit our bullpen.
Well, using 9 pitchers yesterday, you can understand where Robin would certainly like, even with the off day tomorrow, he'd like to give them a bit of a rest.
And the count 1-2. Figgins has faced Chris 5 times, has 1 hit. Outfield slightly to the right. Just off the corner. And hit the ballpark. 330 down the left field line. 335 down the right field line. 375 in the gaps and 400 straight away center.
A couple of pitches in this sequence could have gone either way, and they went Figgins' way.
Two down. So here's Montero. Jesus hitting at .254, 7 homers and 27 driven in. He's 2 for 10 in this series, and he has faced Chris. That was out in Seattle. He's 1 for 3, and that 1 hit was a tremendous home run right against the wind over the center field fence. He is very strong. Just 22 years old. This is a very young offensive Seattle team.
Talking with Eric Wedge about it, and he said, look, I know I'm playing young guys in a lot of different positions, and they're going to learn. It's just that they haven't learned quite yet.
1-1 to count.
You saw in your last picture, longtime major leaguer Robbie Thompson, who was the right-hand man of Eric Wedge, and a good baseball man.
High into short right field. Alex is there, so that's a nice 1-2-3 inning for Chris, and after a half inning of plays. Their guys nothing, and our guys coming back.
It's going to be Lillibridge getting a start in center field. Then Beckham, who's been hot. Dunn, Viciedo, who's been hotter. Rios, Fukudome, Ramirez, Flowers, and Eduardo Escobar playing third, hitting ninth. The defense and how they will line up behind Kevin Millwood, Figgins, Saunders, and Ichiro left to right. Liddy, Ryan, Ackley, and Smoke in the infield. Montero behind the plate. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Kevin Millwood. He's 3-4 this year. The ERA 3.5. Usually has a very good ERA. And in fact, he's 1-6 lifetime against our ball club, but his ERA also around 3.5.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. Brent Lillibridge hitting at 205. Will lead it off. And he takes ball one. Brent has faced Millwood 3 times, has 2 hits. Sox come in hitting at 258 as a team with a 3.93 ERA. And the count 2-0.
Millwood can't get careless with his fastball because gone are the days where there's a whole lot on it. He does have a big slow curveball. He's a guy who pretty much defines the crafty veteran.
Well, he had good stuff. He's 37 years old now, 6'4", 230 out of Gainesville, Georgia. There's the strike.
At one point he had great stuff and he came out of the Atlanta factory for pitchers.
That one year he was 0-3 against us and had right at a 1 or just underneath of 1 ERA. It was unbelievable. And the count 3-1.
Thing with Millwood is that you can run on it. He's not the quickest to home plate.
Usually I let them take care of it and I don't step in unless they play and it gets out of control. On there? Yeah. They'd have to rebook me.
Right on the outside edge of the outside corner. And the payoff pitch. All 4 base hit. Back through the middle into center field.
It looked like Millwood thought about putting his throwing hand up there and then at the last instant said, you know what, maybe not. This ball comes back with something on it. It's a fastball. It's out away. Puts up his throwing hand. Doesn't get it. In fact, it might have just tipped off. It did tip off his throwing hand.
All right, that'll bring up Gordon Beckham, and here's what he's done in this series. Mercy. Off Felix Hernandez. Off Felix Hernandez. This doesn't happen too often. Yesterday off Moesi. And that gave us a 5-4 lead in that ball game. There his parents. Gordon, number 2 on the right, and Sully, his mom.
Sully gave me a tin of pecans. Fresh from Georgia. Gotta thank her for that. Very nice.
She gave me that tin of cheese straws and they're gone. They're gone.
Well, I'm thinking of getting some caramel, some chocolate, and cooking myself up some turtles.
Well, you gotta find somebody who will donate them.
Donate the turtles? Oh, the caramel and the chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I didn't hit Powerball again, so.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
That's outside. In fact, I only got 1 number.
Well, I had a ticket and a half, and I thought I had a good chance. But no.
Outfield around to the right, gap in left center. And there's a strike. 21 to count. Gordon 5 for 11 in the series with those 3 home runs you just saw and 6 RBIs.
If Millwood stays where he stayed on Lillibridge and where he stayed early on Gordon, he's going to have to take him to right or right center field.
Lillibridge 7 for 8 in stolen bases.
Millwood started his professional career way back in 1993. Got to the big leagues in '97.
Long look down at Joe McEwing. Adam Dunn on deck. Decent lead by Lillibridge. Count evens at 2.
Joe McEwing giving his set of signs. Millwood is using a slide step to try to combat what he knows is a base running situation.
And let's look at this quote from Gordon Beckham. I feel like I'm back to being the guy I was, and the guy I've been, and the guy I just pushed under the rug for a long time.
Well, if he's anywhere close to the guy that he's been for about the last 2 weeks, that's going to be a pretty good guy at the top of this lineup, filling a valuable spot in the 2 spot.
It's the most important spot really in the lineup as far as responsibilities go. Good job right there to fight that off. Well, you know, in this game, like almost anything, you're either going to be your best friend or your worst enemy. There's not too much in between. And for the last couple of years, he's been his worst enemy.
There's no doubt he's overthought a whole lot of things. You know, he never had any failure anywhere. Came up here, didn't have any failure when he got here. Well, then he started a habit, which is what most people, normal people like you and I, have at the beginning of our careers. You have failure. And at times later in a career, you have failure.
My first 5 years in the big leagues was a failure.
I mean, you just, and that's after really not failing at just about anything you've ever done, because most of the guys who play here were great athletes in other sports, great athletes obviously in baseball, and you get used to winning all the time. You get up here and it's humbling because you're playing great players every day.
Payoff pitch. There he goes. And there's a chopper to hopper. Ryan. And that's out number 1. Well, at the age of 21, when I was in the big leagues, after that season was over, I was driving home, and I was actually thinking about quitting.
It was that bad?
Yeah. I mean, because of the reason everything is self-induced. Everything is self-induced, especially at the major league level in any sport. And I had never failed at anything prior to that, and I just was really being hard on myself, and I came real close to retiring at the age of 21. As here's Adam Dunn hitting at 226, 17 homers, 38 driven in. Softly hit. Millwood where he should be. Lillibridge in the third. Adam has had pretty good success against Millwood. 9 for 21 with 6 home runs.
That time Millwood threw it right in on his thumbs, and there wasn't anything that the big man could do. This is really a perfect pitch on the first pitch. He has seemingly a little cut on it, moved in on his hands, and you can tell by our BMO Harris Bank pitch tracks that it was in the perfect spot.
And here's Tank Viciato hitting at 282, 12 homers, and 29 knocked in. Yeah, when I got home to Savannah, I told my mom what I was thinking about. Boy, you talking about getting behind red out. Oh, man. Goes through it upstairs.
She might have reminded you that because you hadn't accomplished a great deal and you were 21, retirement might not be the word for it. You probably used a different word in your idea to walk away.
Yep. My mom was a single parent, and I was a mama's boy. Still am and always will be.
She let you know that she didn't think that was the best decision you could make?
She wore me out. 1-1. Oh, nice catch.
That's a pretty good job, because that one came up with a little something on it.
That had a little mustard on it. That's up high. 2-2. Yeah, but Gordon is regaining what I think are one of the most important things about an athlete. He's regaining his childlike qualities. That's what he exemplified when he first came up, and he lost them for a couple of years. The 2-2. Oh, he was all over that one, just underneath it. And let's check out our Farmers Insurance picks to click. Tim Angio, our director and the crew. Well, they went with Lillibridge. Steve's going with Gordon Beckham. And George Thomas, my good friend down in Elkhart, Indiana. He's got a lot of my money on the golf course. We're going to go with Tank, who's at the plate right now. Got him. And that'll retire the side, so we get the leadoff signal. Can't do anything with it.
Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
And that gentleman you're looking at is Chuck Armstrong, who is the president and chief operating officer of the Seattle Mariners, and just a terrific guy. Just a big baseball fan and has done a terrific job with the Mariners over the years. He's been with them a very long time.
Had a chance to talk with him a few times, and around baseball, he could be as nice a guy as there is in the game.
Oh, sure. Sure, he's a good man. Justin Smoke, Dustin Ackley, and Miguel Olivo here in the top of the second inning. Smoke, switch hitting first baseman, hitting at .241, 10 homers and 29 knocked in. Starts him off with a changeup. Smoke 4 for 9 in the series with a homer. And that fastball up high.
Smoke is a decent hitter from the right side, but almost exclusively his power comes as a left-hand hitter.
Another changeup. Well, you really got to be impressed with Chris Sale. The way he has gone from being in the bullpen to the starter, which he actually was all his life, a starter. That breaking ball down and in. And the way he's learned how to pace himself and mix the changeup in. He and Coop really worked tremendously hard on that changeup this spring.
Well, I think throwing the changeup, as much as he does, takes a little pressure off the elbow because he doesn't have to throw the slider as much.
No question about it. That's taken the place of many sliders in his repertoire. His close pitch didn't get it.
Our BMO Harris Bank pitch tracks will show you that
at the bottom of the zone.
It did. It had a good piece of it.
And the payoff.
We told you that Chris Sale was the American League Pitcher of the Month for the month of May. 4-1 record, an ERA of 171. Opponents hitting just 181, which is absolutely spectacular. 35 strikeouts, just 9 walks, a career high 15 on Monday against Tampa Bay. Chris Sale, a richly deserved honor, and a number of our guys have picked up Player of the Month, Player of the Week in the American League this year.
Ackley takes first pitch strike. That one at 94. Outfield for the most part straight up. And the count very quickly 0-2. Ackley just 24 years old. You mentioned a very young offensive Mariner team. Montero 22, Smoke 25, Ackley 24, Saunders 25, Liddy 23, Kyle Seager 25. Seager 24. There he gone.
Well, this shows you how devastating the slider is. Take a look at the knees of Ackley. He was a pretty good hitter. That ball curved probably from in back of him over the outside corner and went across the entire plate.
There's one element there that could be added that a guy did to me, a right-hander. As here's Miguel Olivo. Had a breaking ball. Big sweeping breaking ball. Started off behind my head and yelled, "Look out."
That's good. That's a good one.
I hit the dirt and here it comes. Grab some bench off.
Yeah, with 2 strikes, that's actually a terrific play.
There's a strike.
Except in those days when the pitcher had to hit.
That's right. Pitchers can't talk to the hitters anymore. They used to be able to. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It is 2-0.
That was a blast.
Yeah, he's a very, very strong guy. That leadoff walk again gets us in trouble.
But with the wind blowing straight out today, and it being once again a very lively day at the ballpark, home run number 4, RBIs 10 and 11. Our Ford home run replay. Well, this is a blast. This one went well over the Bud Fisher Memorial vines in center field. Wow.
So here's Saunders. 4 hits yesterday. 4 for 10 in the series with a homer. Saunders very instrumental in that first game victory for us. Canerco hit a vicious line drive. Get over there. Nice pick and nice play. Estimated distance on that home run by McGill, 448 feet.
That's a nice distance to straightaway center field.
One of the stronger guys around. And one of the nicest guys around.
So if there's a battle, Chris Sale might want to stay away from him.
He's got to pull a Dennis Martinez.
He's exactly right. You just turn around and you got a pretty good idea you can outrun him.
He can't outrun Olivo, though. Olivo can run.
Chase him in the outfield.
Here's Liddy, Alex Liddy, the Italian on this ball club. He's strong. Liddy hitting at 247, 3 homers. He's got 10 RBIs. 0-2 the count. Yes, he did. He gone, but the blast by Miguel Olivo. It is 2-0 Mariners. Top the Gold Coast Tickets Club. A tremendous blast. We trail it 2-0, but we have an off day, a welcome off day tomorrow, especially for our bullpen. And then the Blue Jays coming in.
What really gives you hope today is you saw how far that ball traveled off the bat of Olivo. It is a very lively day, and it was a very lively day yesterday. A little warmer today, and there were 8 home runs hit in that game. There should be a few hit today.
As you see our schedule right there, Toronto coming in for 3 and Houston for 3, and that will wind up this homestand. And it's off to St. Louis and L.A.
And Matt Kemp is on the disabled list, and although the Dodgers are a good team, they're not near as good without Matt Kemp.
First pitch strike to Alex. Rios hitting at 285, 5 homers, 26 driven in. 3 for 9 in this series with a laser beam home run. That's into right field. Ichiro. So 1 out. That'll bring up Fukudomi. Yeah, that off day tomorrow is going to be just what the doctor ordered for our bullpen.
And I think that's part of the method behind the way Robin set his lineup. He gave AJ the day off. Now he'll have 2 days off. They gave Diaza, who's been kind of banged up a little bit here and there, the day off. He'll have the 2. And Paulie. It's really going to help those guys.
First pitch strike to Fukudomi, hitting at 171. 0 for 1 against Millwood. Nothing to the count. Big gap out there in right center. Moves him off the plate.
Millwood started in Atlanta, went to Philadelphia for Johnny Estrada, then went to Cleveland, Texas, Baltimore, Colorado, and now finds himself in Seattle. And he still has pinpoint control. That's always served him well during the course of his career.
Just off the plate. Well, there were a couple of years when he was in the Atlanta uniform that he was being touted, and look at the staff that they had, but he was being touted as the best pitcher on the staff.
Well, he had a great arm, great control, and the stuff was overwhelming at times.
Tried to backdoor him.
But what happened was Greg Maddux at first said he wasn't going to take arbitration. They allocated about $10 million for Millwood. Maddux came back, said he would take arbitration. They had to trade Millwood because they didn't have room on the budget. Traded him for Johnny Estrada to Philadelphia.
Payoff. And there's a souvenir.
That was the days after Ted Turner. Because Ted, when John Sherholtz would go to him, he would say, I need this, I'd like to have this much to do that. And Ted would say, no problem. Then after Ted, a budget. A budget came in.
Once again, the payoff pitch. And that is ball 4. So a good at bat after falling down, and the count 0-2. First walk issued by Millwood, and that'll bring up Alexei. Alexei hitting at 223. 3 ways to hit 223. On a consistent basis, on a downward basis, or on an upward basis. And he's going on an upward basis.
We don't anticipate him to sit on 1 home run for very long. Because despite his very wiry body, he's pretty strong.
And has a ton of stamina. Takes first pitch strike.
Millwood has only given up 3 home runs now in 62 innings. But he doesn't pitch in many ballparks like this one on a warm day.
Pretty good lead. As we speak, Yankees leading the Tigers 5-1, bottom of the 5th in Detroit.
Now, if they can just walk Cabrera every time he comes up, they probably got a chance of beating him.
He hit a couple of bombs last night. Yankees won that game 4-2, but Minnesota beat Cleveland last night 7-4. Fouls that back in the count 0-2. Miami starting to play really good. They're 30-23 coming into the day, and bottom of the 5th in Philadelphia, Marlins shutting them out 2-0.
They spent a lot of money on that ball club to put it together when they moved into their new stadium, and it is paying some dividends for them.
Well, they were my pick to win that East.
Well, you've got Giancarlo Stanton, who is a beast by any standard. As you can see, the Nationals surprisingly in first place. However, their pitching staff has been magnificent.
Ugadomi, pretty good lead once again. 1 out and a 1-2 pitch. There's a base hit. Rolling breaking ball up out over the plate. So 1 out, 2 aboard, and that'll bring up Tyler Flowers. That boy Alexei.
That one hangs up there, and even though it's away, he's right on top of the plate, and so that hanging curveball away is pretty much right in his wheelhouse, and he hits it well to left field.
Alexei, probably more than any other hitter on our club, will swing at high breaking balls. Most of our guys take them.
They're really good pitches to hit.
I know.
I couldn't hit, and I like to hit those pitches.
So here's Tyler. 194, a couple of homers. 0-1 the count.
Millwood being around for this his 20th professional season, still has 92, 93 on the fastball.
Threw that one by him at 91. Now you got to cinch it up and hunker down. No balls, 2 strikes with Eduardo Escobar on deck. Two out.
Number 38, Eduardo Escobar.
All right, Eduardo. First time he's had a chance to play, or start, I should say, since Hudson got here.
Yeah, no time like the present for a base hit. Playing him around well toward left center field as an off-field hitter.
And that is fouled into the mezzanine section.
When you have a defense that's set like this, the last thing any pitcher wants to do is throw an off-speed breaking ball, because that's a pitch that can be hit into left to right center or down the line and right. Let's see how they work to Escobar.
Fastball.
Kevin Youkilis, please.
In that Yankee Tiger game, 5-1 New York, Verlander on the bump.
Getting hurt by the Yankees.
Been getting hurt a few times, as we talked about.
I think their innings are starting to show a little bit on
no
Justin.
question about it. And you know, when you get a guy as competitive as Justin Verlander, you got to put the hammer down on him,
because he never wants to come out even when he's in the mid 120s in pitches.
No, he does not. But you got to make him. Well, you got to be the boss. It's just that simple.
Well, if they start losing, well, let's say 40% of the games that Verlander starts, even if he doesn't lose them himself, that's going to really hurt that staff, because the tail end of the rotation is fairly weak.
Just got a piece of it, boy, Eduardo. Yeah, he's a horse, but year after year after year after year, being a horse, there's going to be one year in that 5th or 6th year that it's going to take its toll. Not many pitchers with that mentality around. We've got one on our team, but not many pitchers around with that mentality.
Well, there was another, although a slightly built horse, that had 2 great years for San Francisco. That's Tim Lincecum, and this year he's really paying the price for it.
Picks it up, ball gets away, so both runners will advance on the wild pitch and curveball. Now the base hit.
3rd wild pitch of the year. And Olivo normally does a great job of smothering these. The difference was he was sitting low and away, and that ball dipped low and in and just bounded off the chest protector. So if he's expecting it low and in, he's probably going to block that. But he had too far to move. And the little looper. Good chance of tying up this game.
Ducks on the pond, 2 out, 3-2 the count with Lillibridge on deck. There was a get me over breaking ball, a good pitch to hit, and he fouls it away.
BMO Harris Bank pitch tracks. That one right up in his eyes. Just a little tardy with it. Those are
Millwood being a veteran too. Those 3-2 getting over breaking balls usually get hit very hard. And that's ball 4 that'll load him up. So the second walk of the inning, and a good at bat by Escobar.
Well, what you like is the fact that Millwood's already up to 45 pitches.
This could be a big thing too because of the fact that pitch count. The Mariners, like we did, they played 12 innings yesterday. They went to 8 pitchers. That Wilhelmsen, though, he's not going to be available.
I wouldn't think so. He went 3 innings, and for him, who would average an inning every appearance, that was a long appearance.
Well, he just dominated us. He has some superior stuff coming out of that bullpen. Going 96 with a yacker. Come on, Brent. Oh, got a good pitch to hit. And just underneath it.
He got a little slider that had a good portion of the plate. Didn't have a whole lot of bite to it. And fouled it off.
He's got to lay off high fastballs. That's the one pitch that gets him in a lot of trouble. Up out of the zone. High fastballs in the zone of Brent. He's pretty good. But when you get on top of that zone, no, he's not. There was another rolling breaking ball. So Millwood has skated on thin ice here, both to Escobar and to Lillibridge.
And a lot of times with a man at third base, what a catcher goes out and tells a pitcher is, I know a curveball got away, but if I call a curveball, might not be this pitch, but if I call one, I want your best. I want it in the dirt. I want a wipeout pitch, and I'll block it for you. Normally, Olivo is exceptional at that.
Good check. Good check, Brent. A lot of guys will not be able to check it up on that one. Late breaker.
Hey, Millwood, right here. Here.
And that's up high. So 2-2 and a big pitch coming up.
Good one to lay off of. Meanwhile, 50 pitches delivered by Millwood. Carl Willis, the pitching coach, I'm sure not particularly happy about the high pitch count.
And a full count. Back him on deck.
2 walks already this inning for Millwood, who had walked 23 in 61 innings coming in.
And this crowd yelling, squeeze it. Ball 4 base hit. That's ball 4. Fukudomi scores, and it's a 2-1 ball game. A good at bat by Lillibridge laying off that high fastball.
I think we might have gotten a break on that last pitch. We'll take another look at it. Could have gone either way. It went Lillibridge's way. He drives in his second run of the year. And with cutting the lead in half to 2-1, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's Sunday, there's 5 games where the score is 2-1 around baseball right now.
Well, regardless, this has been a terrific inning is for us because of the pitch count.
It's up to 52, and you have to face Beckham to get out of it. 3 walks this inning. Carl Willis went out. Trying to settle down his veteran. This inning, he will deliver in excess of those 31 pitches. And that's a lot of work on a day that is 77 degrees and going up a little bit since game time.
There's Beckham, grounded out to short.
How do you catch this guy?
Come on, Gordon, have a little fun up there, buddy. Ooh, okay. That boy looking for it. Put a good pass on it. Just underneath it. Gap out there in left center. He lays off that one to even the count.
Hey, Kevin, nice pitch.
The big gap for Gordon is left center field, with Saunders swung around toward right center.
Come on, Kevin. Ball.
And the count 2-1.
Very good speed on the base paths. And the Sunday red pinstripes.
Hey, Kev,
I love those uniforms.
Me too. Waiting to score. That's just waiting to score.
where'd you get this guy, Montero? Where'd you get him from the Cubs?
To the shortstop, up over to second base, and they get the force, but we get one. And we'll go to the third. It is 2-1 Seattle.
Who's involved with corporate partnerships. In fact, he's the dean of corporate
Correct.
partnerships.
That is correct. Thanks.
I know we've got a big event coming up. People are going to get an opportunity to sleep actually on the field and bring their tents and have a good time. So
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about the logistics and how you get a chance to do that.
Perfect. We partner with Outdoor Channel, Xfinity, and Bass Pro Shops. Going to whitesox.com/campout, you can learn all the information, but it's June 29th. You get to bring your tent, sleep on the outfield, watch the White Sox play the Yankees on the video board. So a lot of activities, a lot of inflatable things, bounce houses. We got a lot of things for people to do there.
So let's assume that I already have my tent and all my camping gear and I'm ready to go, and I've visited Bass Pro Shop and I have all my fishing needs necessary. How do I get in touch with you and then have the ability to come down here?
Yeah, like I said, Steve, just whitesox.com/campout, and then you can get all the information there.
And a phone, maybe, because
Phone
some of us
numbers
don't have computers.
Sorry, you're correct. 312-674-5386 if you want more information. Once again, 312-674-5386.
Well, I think it's going to be great, and we appreciate you doing this, and I think the fans are going to love it when they get an opportunity to do it. And you can see Roger Bossard's handiwork down on the field.
Exactly. June 29th. Hope to see everyone out there.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
1-1 pitch to Brendan Ryan. That should be a lot of fun. Nice going, big guy. A 2-1 ball game here in the top of the third. Mammoth home run by Miguel Olivo. Way over that center field fence up in that ivy. And then the Sox just picked up one. And that is caught by Lillibridge. Lost it for a moment. Then recovered. A couple of changes as Eduardo Escobar goes into left field for Fukudomi, and Hudson moves in at third base. So here's Ichiro. Grounded out softly to Beckham. Takes first pitch strike. And count 0-2. A beautiful day here in the city. Beautiful.
Well, wispy clouds overhead, and you couldn't ask for better temperatures.
Ate him up. Ate him up. 2 down.
Well, here's an example of one of baseball's great hitters against a young star. That fastball is inside. Ichiro tries to open up. Can't really get the job done and taps it right back to Chris. So a quick 2 outs in the inning.
John Figgins. Went out to center field. Takes first pitch strike.
Figgins, the best friend and former teammate in Colorado of Juan Pierre. And they both have one thing in common. They both work as hard as anybody in baseball.
I'll tell you, there's not a nicer guy I've ever met in the game of baseball than Juan Pierre.
And he's here just about before everybody and leaves after everybody's gone. Never seen anything like it.
I've met guys as nice, but nobody nicer. He's a perfect gentleman. Hard worker. Wow.
He's a guy who absolutely has gotten the most he could possibly get out of his career. Now, he had some, a lot of talent because he's very fast, but still.
2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He gone. Yes. And that'll retire the side of 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the bottom of the third, trailing by 1.
is, who's the only first baseman in Mariners history to win a Gold Glove? You think about that? There's been a lot of good ones there. And we'll get back to you a little later in the show with the answer.
It's a 2-1 Mariner lead. 2-1-0 for those guys. 1-2-0 for our guys. Dunn, Viciedo, and Rios to face Kevin Millwood. Millwood has thrown 56 pitches through 2 innings. Adam got jammed and hit a little roller down to first. He is now 9 for 22 lifetime against Millwood. The 9 hits, 3 of them stayed in the park. Two and 0 the count.
Adams looking for something right around knee to thigh high. He would prefer it middle out, actually.
They get that shift on with Ackley out there in short right field. And a 3-0 count. Tank on deck.
Green light.
And that's ball 4. So the 4th walk issued in the last inning plus by Millwood. Tank struck out, called out. Got aced by Millwood his first at bat. And that's up high.
All 5. Be patient. We're watching you, Montero. Don't worry about it. We're still here. This one's gonna go faster.
Takes the strike.
All over the place, Joe. He's still there, Millwood.
Threw that one by him at 89. Even in this hot streak, Tank from the middle end's been having some problems. Middle out, he's been absolutely dynamite.
I know, and they've been going more and more on the inner porch of the plate, and that's where Montero sets up again.
And hit him. He did not try to do that. Now Eric Wedge is going to say he swung. Millwood's going to say whatever.
And Hermie's going to take a look at Tank, who was just standing there. And hopefully he's okay. You can't lose guys that productive. If it got him more meat than bone, we're going to be in pretty good shape. Take a look again.
He turned right into it. Millwood certainly was not trying to hit him, especially on 0-2.
No, but you're certainly not going to say it was a swing, or are you going to say, did he lean out over the plate to get hit?
Well, there's so many guys that do that most of the time. That's almost just a non-issue. You can't go that HBP, hit by pitch, on pitcher stats. You can't go by that anymore.
No.
Can't do it. You know, you used to be able to. It's one of, in fact, that was one of the first stats that opposing hitters used to look at. How many guys this guy hit? 16. My goodness. Well, you know, today a guy can hit 10 guys and you only hit really 1 or 2.
That's 64 pitches, and there is nobody out here in the third, one way or the other. Millwood is trying to get out of the inning with a double play ground ball, and of course, a beautiful inning to at the very least tie it up and maybe go ahead.
Takes it right there. Alex went out to his counterpart, Ichiro. 2 on, nobody out here in the bottom of the third.
Right here, Kevin. Keep it down.
Up the middle and into center field. Attaboy, Alex. The Tank will move into third. As Dunn scores, and this game is tied at 2. That leadoff walk.
Walk, hit batsman, and then a seeing-eye single up the middle. Brendan Ryan, who normally plays fairly deep at short, is playing almost straight away, but can't stop this one. And once again, Carl Willis comes from out, runners at the corners, and nobody out.
And a reminder, while they have that little meeting of the minds at the mound, prorated season tickets for the rest of the season are still available. Purchase a full season plan or choose from 2 great split season plans and gain access to the best seats at the best price. Plans start just below $250 and can be purchased by visiting whitesox.com or calling 312-674-1000.
And the bullpen up and going. It's Stephen Pryor. He gave up the long home run to Viciedo that tied up the ball game at 8-8 at the time, only to see us lose in 12.
So here's Hudson.
Boy, I love the bunt up the right side here.
Strike on the inside corner. Hudson went in defensively at third as Escobar started there and moved to left in place of Fukudomi, who left the ball game. Runners at the corners and nobody out. Outfield spread out. Nice gap out there in left center. Alex with a good lead at first. He got a cookie and couldn't do anything with it.
Hanging breaking ball. Sitting right there, swung through it.
And right there. Brent Morrell down at Charlotte, rehabbing, has gone 6 for 13 with a double, 4 runs scored in 4 games. They say his back is feeling very well.
Well, you know, if he's 100%, as soon as they determine that he can dive to either side and come up and everything is good with him, he's going to be brought back.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. So here's Alexei.
When you do it that slowly, if you're thinking about throwing to first, you would really have to have Stevie Wonder down there taking the lead.
Well, I think it was more for his own.
just to catch a breath.
Yeah. Out and around, that one chops it foul.
They really looked like the slowest of that fake to third and look to first moves. Here's our AT&T U-verse multi-view. We'll give you a shot in from center field. We'll give you a shot down the third base line in case Alexei pulls it down there. You got Liddy off the line, so there is some room to get it between him and the bag.
Alex with about a half a step bigger lead now. But you got, oh boy. Rack them up. We have a great opportunity. Men on first and third. Nobody out. A strikeout, a double play. But we do tie it up. We'll go to the fourth 2-2.
the new Doritos Locos Tacos from Taco Bell.
As you check out our Comcast Sportsnet tail of the tape, there it is, a 2-2 tie. We had an opportunity right there to get a few more, not just one more. Men on first and third, nobody out. Hudson struck out, and then the double play. So here's Montero. He popped up to Alex in right field. He's 22 years old. Good breaking ball. One and one to count. Two balls in the strike. Justin Smoke on deck. Ackley in the hole. Out in front of it. Right over the top. Nice. No, he could not come up with it. It was a nice pick, but meanwhile, that'd be a base hit.
This is deep in the hole and still a chance, but it has to be the long hop. Maybe Paulie might make this play, but Adam doesn't. That ball actually hit the grass, which makes it a bit of an easier play.
But it came up.
It
hit the grass and came up.
But a base hit all the way, and so now infield's looking for two. Because Smoke can't run.
That's popped up to Alex. And that's out number one. So Smoke, who walked and scored his first trip, is retired, and here's Ackley, called out on a wicked slider. After 7 in Detroit, 5-1 Yankees.
Hot dog here, hot dog. Hot dog.
Outfield straight up. There's a good strike.
Well, I'm sure Ackley, who was the best hitter in the country out of the University of North Carolina, never had an opportunity to bunt too much. He hasn't shown a bunt here, but after looking at the first slider and maybe the second one here, he might rethink his position.
There was a roller.
That wasn't a good one. He wants to put a little something more on it, and he'll get it.
Actually, you know what? It's not that now the balance of nutrition is a different issue.
2-2 the count. With Miguel Oliva, who just absolutely hit a mammoth home run in center field. He's on deck.
Ackley took a long look down at Jeff Datz, third base coach, who another guy who came over from Cleveland with Eric Wedge.
He gone.
It's that slider we were talking about. So Ackley's been up twice. Twice he's gone down on the slider. Once looking, this time swinging. Well, that's a huge biting slider.
Olivo got a low fastball down in the end. That's his wheelhouse. And just absolutely annihilated it. And if you missed it,
low fastball. Olivo got it up in the wind and up in the foliage.
448 feet.
448.
And there's that slider in the count 0-2. So 2 out, 1 on. Foul tipped in and out of the mitt of Flowers. Miguel, a proud father of 6. Does a lot of work with children during the winter. He gone, and it'll retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 4th, tied at 2.
In Mariners history to win a Gold Glove, and the answer, John Olerud, and he won 3 of them, 2000 and 2002, 2003. So you think about Olerud as a pretty good hitter. You also think about him wearing the hard hat in the field. You don't think about him necessarily as a great fielder, but he was, and they've got a great fielder at first base now in Justin Smoke.
I'll tell you who Olerud was like Canerco. Only he was left-handed.
A lot of hits.
Well,
a lot of hits.
But I'm talking about defensively. He didn't have a whole bunch of range, but whatever he got to his hands, he made the play. And this is like Paulie. So here we go in this 2-2 tie. Flowers struck out his first trip. Underneath that one. Two 3-0 for our guys, 2-2-0 for their guys. This will be pitch number 73. That's up high. Attaboy. Rips that one. So the lead man award.
He threw 3 fastballs by Tyler last time up. And this time he tries it again, only Tyler's seen that trick once. So he adjusts, turns into a base hit. And that's 75 pitches with nobody out here in the 4th.
Escobar walked, a big walk, back in the 2nd inning. And 1 to count. Ball hit hard into center field. Tyler is going to make the turn. Escobar, a big turnaround first. Now pulls up. So something cooking here in the bottom of the 4th.
Gerardo hits this ball awfully hard and drives it by Ackley, who's a converted outfielder, first baseman. Can't get to it. And Escobar takes a huge and very aggressive turn around first base. You love to see that because if the ball's mishandled at all, he's standing on second.
He does that all the time.
That's a lesson for all of you youngsters out there. Think 2 until they stop you. And he's thinking double until they get the ball back in.
That's right. It's like George Brett. Every time he hit a ground ball, it got to the outfield. He thought it was a double until he saw it was not. So here's Lillibridge. He walked with the bases loaded back in the 2nd. Breaking ball away. Well, we have a moment. A big White Sox shout out and a big White Sox fan. Mrs. Elaine Pro of Rockton, Illinois. All right, Elaine.
Kosuke Fukudome left the game with back stiffness.
Not too much, Brent. Not too much. 1-1 to count. Pretty good lead by Escobar. And there's a strike right there. One and 2 the count.
Little pop fly or any medium depth fly ball to right field, you're probably not going to score. Center and left, you're certainly going to think about it.
We had this situation last inning. And then on 1st and 3rd, nobody out. And there was a strikeout. And then a double play. So we're having a redo. There's Beckham. Gordon 0 for 2. Twice he has grounded out to short. Big gap in left center. Breaking ball, no. Pretty good lead. One and 1 to count.
That call could have gone either way. It went the way of Kevin Millwood.
There's a shot. That's going to score. Tyler Escobar on his way to third base. The throw is into third. So Gordon will move into second, and the Sox lead it 3-2. Yes.
With one out, it really isn't a good play to get the ball into third base by Sean Figgins. You want to keep the double play in order as Gordon gets a high fastball, drives in his 22nd run of the year. And if this throw comes into second base, you have the double play in order. But by throwing the ball to third, it allows Gordon to not only thrill his parents, who you see, but making his ball club pretty happy, and he moved into second base.
Well, a talker reminder, stay connected to your White Sox all season long. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, pin us on Pinterest, and reblog our unique Tumblr content. Visit whitesox.com/connect. They're going to put Adam on to load him up. Viciedo. So this will be the second walk for Adam.
And the fifth walk in 4 innings, even though this is of the intentional variety.
Viciedo 0 for 1 and was hit by a pitch. And here's what Tank did yesterday. Sox were losing 8-7 in the 8th inning.
That was one of the few mistakes that Stephen Pryor made in his major league debut. But that was a bomb over the bullpen.
Just a line drive. I mean, he is country strong with a live bat. Sacks packed with Sox. 1 out. High into short right field, and nobody's going anywhere. So 2 down.
Wrong guy to hit that size fly ball in his direction.
One of the greatest right fielders in the history of this game.
He gets rid of the ball quickly. He's terrifically accurate and sets up perfectly to make the throw.
Well, he does all those things, but what makes him maybe as good as anybody, if not better than anybody in right field, is how quickly he gets to the ball. That speed of his. There's never been a right fielder who ran faster with the equipment that he's got, arm, everything else, than Ichiro. So it's up to Alex. Alex has an RBI single. That was last inning.
Alex.
Takes first pitch strike. Swung at a bad pitcher's pitch right there. 0-2. Now you got to cinch it up and hunker down. This will be pitch number 91 through 3 2/3. Good eye. Good take.
Base hit, Alex. Base hit, that's it.
Back to the middle, deflected over. Can they get in? No. No. Escobar scores, and the Sox lead it 4-2. Base hit by Rios.
This is our Xfinity high-speed action replay. This actually saved a run because this is going to center field. The deflection, great reaction by Ryan. He can't get it there in time. For Rios, his second run batted in, his 28th of the year. But without this deflection, it's going into center field. So even though he can't get him at first, it's a great effort by Ryan.
Don't stop now, boys. Here's Hudson. He struck out last inning. Big hit by Escobar. 4-7-0 for us, 2-2-0 for them. Back in the third, down at second. And that's deflected. And they get to that, saved 2 more runs. Meanwhile, we come up with a pair. We'll go to the 5th, leading by 2. Patrick Show on Comcast Sportsnet. Tomorrow, tune in as he talks sports with baseball legend Joe Torre. So get your sports day started with the Dan Patrick Show tomorrow morning from 8 to 11 on Comcast Sportsnet. 4-2 White Sox here in the top of the 5th inning. Saunders, Liddy, and Ryan to face Chris Sale. Sale, who gave up that mammoth home run to Miguel Olivo. 2-run shot in the second. Guys to bunt.
2 innings, they sang Happy Birthday to Southpaw. Very nice. A beloved mascot. And a huge birthday celebration.
Mackenzie Morgan. Wow. There's that guy swinging a hot bat. That's going to be a double. He has got extra good plate coverage right now.
Well, he wasn't doing anything until he had that ball bounce off his glove and hit him in the face. And yesterday, he had a huge day. And And he crushes this ball in the gap, so the 14th double of the season. Getting his opportunity to play because Franklin Gutierrez has not been able to play, and Saunders is making a mark for himself.
It's not boring. Something's around the clock.
Fastball strike. Liddy struck out his first trip. 14th two-bagger for Saunders. Count evens at 1. Bottom of the ninth in Detroit, still 5-1 Yankees. Verlander started for the Tigers. Pretty good rip right there by Alex Liddy. But the count is 1-2. Off day tomorrow, then Tuesday. Blue Jays in town. Philip Humber against Ricky Romero. Ricky has really been pitching well. So make your plans to be with us here at the ballpark on Tuesday, to be announced for us against Brandon Morrow. And on Wednesday, or check to Thursday, Jake Peavy against Henderson Alvarez. Yes, he did. He gone.
That's the second time that Liddy looked at a slider for the wipeout pitch, tried to check his swing and couldn't.
6th strikeout for Chris.
That ball moved a good 6 feet across the plate, down and in, out of the zone, and you could understand where any hitter, but especially a young hitter, couldn't check it up.
Yeah, that's going to get a lot of them.
And he has to this point.
So here's Ryan. Went out to center field. Fastball high and wide. And the Sox and Cubs rivalry continues for the BP Crosstown Cup. Great seats are still available for the White Sox Cubs at U.S. Cellular Field June 18th, 19th, and 20th. So purchase tickets by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Change up. And the count 2-1.
Great pitch by Chris Sale. Very good call by Tyler Flowers. Fastball situation. You're expecting anything but a straight change. That's what he got. That's why he missed it by plenty.
And that's popped up right side. Alex. 2 down. So with 2 out, here's Ichiro. He's grounded to second, and he just got sawed off. A little soft comebacker to Sale.
Tyler went out there to talk to Chris Sale about how he wants to approach this at bat with Ichiro.
Sean Figgins on deck. Well, what a unique style for a guy who's going to go into 2 different Hall of Fames.
Not one you try to teach anybody.
Well, the one thing that's absolutely awesome about it is that when he drifts, his hands stay back. And that's the first prerequisite of being a great hitter. Your hands have got to stay back.
Yeah, but teaching a normal man to be able to do that without his hand-eye coordination.
Well, for everyone you would teach, you'd kill 1,000. That's into left field. Escobar is there, makes the catch. That'll retire the side. We're halfway home, leading 4-2. Bautista and the Blue Jays of Toronto right here at US Cellular Field. Coverage begins at 6:30 with White Sox pregame live. White Sox Mariners Tuesday night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
We've got a new pitcher in the ball game, so Kevin Millwood departs. He's on the losing end of a 4-2 score. And Stephen Pryor, who made his major league debut yesterday afternoon. There you look at the minor league numbers. They were absolutely spectacular. Yesterday went an inning and a third, gave up that line drive home run to Viciedo that tied it up. But he can get that fastball up there anywhere from 98 to 100 miles an hour. We did see that yesterday. He was a big, strong, young kid with a good arm. And Bob Love at the game today. He's brought a few kids out with him, helping a great organization.
He was a pretty good player.
He was a terrific player.
Yes, he was. Yeah, we saw a couple of guys out on that bump yesterday hit 100 a couple of times. Nate Jones and Pryor. Alexei, 1 for 2. And that's going to be a souvenir right side.
And Wilhelmsen not only hit 97 or 98, but he threw a big overhand curveball for strikes.
That one upstairs. And that's going foul. I mentioned Mackenzie Morgan. Boy, she sang about, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes before the game and did a terrific job on the national anthem. Sang happy birthday. What a talent she is, and just 15 years old.
It's amazing. It's a great national anthem.
Whew. Talent. Well, that's one way of doing it.
Got to stay alive somehow, and if you have to throw the bat at the ball and it winds up in 2 pieces, so be it.
Marty Barrett.
I remember Marty Barrett.
Marty Barrett was the best I ever saw it. Throwing a bat, hitting the ball. Former Red Sox second baseman. Ackley's got him. 1 out. So here's Tyler Flowers. He started off that 2-run fourth with a solid single to left field.
Millwood went 4 innings, gave up 4 runs on 7 hits. He walked 5, including 1 of them intentionally. Fanned 3, and he piled up a whole lot of pitches through 4 innings.
Over 90. Good rip. I've always had a lot of respect for Kevin Millwood. He just went out there, as I said, that one year he was 0-3 against us with around a 1 or just below a 1 ERA. Never complains. Very, very, well, you could say almost a consummate professional.
Well, also pretty durable, and that's one of the things you look for if you're going to pick up a veteran. You want a guy who is going to take the ball whenever you hand it to him and not wind up on your disabled list 3 or 4 times during the course of the year.
1-2 the count. And a reminder, prorated season tickets for the rest of the season are still available. Purchase a full season plan or choose from 2 great split season plans and gain access to the best seats at the best price. Plans start just below $250, so call WhiteSox.com or 312-674-1000.
Detroit has been defeated by the Yankees. That's good. Verlander's record just 5-4.
Two down. So here's Escobar, our left fielder, as we speak, has walked, singled, and scored. Big gap in right center. That's a shot right back to the middle. So good speed aboard.
Perfect day for Eduardo. 2 for 2 with a walk. Been on base every time up. And rolls over the lineup, which is pretty important. When
he's a very talented young man. I mean, he's got a lot of Orlando Cabrera in him. And a lot of Ozzie. I mean, he's a good shortstop. He's not going to play that here. But he can do a lot of things.
Anytime you can play any of the infield positions and then slide to the outfield, you're a pretty valuable man.
No question about it. Pretty good lead, too.
Almost threw it away, but for good glove work of Justin Smoke.
Yeah, Escobar is a very talented, all-purpose player. Lillibridge is 1 for 2 with an RBI. Bases loaded walk back in the second inning. Takes ball 1. Velocity down a little bit today, as yesterday was his major league debut. First 2 pitches he threw were at 99.
I think he was a little amped yesterday.
Well, he should have been. If he wasn't, something's wrong with him. Who was the first major league hitter you faced?
Dave Campbell.
Dave Campbell.
Longtime broadcaster. Yeah, 3-2 slider, wound up in center field. 2-0 changeup to Larry Stahl. Had an infinite ERA.
Larry Stahl.
2-0. Home run to right field in San Diego.
There's a blast from the past. Former teammate of mine. Larry Stahl left-handed hitter.
I don't think he hit too many of them, but he hit that one out.
Who, Soup?
Yeah. No, Larry Stahl. Yeah.
Larry could hit a long way, but he didn't hit a lot of home runs.
He didn't. Yes, I figured it had to get better than that.
2 out. And the 1-2. There he goes. It's Academic. And that'll do it. We've completed 5 and we lead at 4-2. Children 13 and under will receive a White Sox and Radio Disney baseball card pack. Presented by Radio Disney. Radio Disney AM 1300, your music, your way. $23,062.
There's a southpaw giveaway. You saw that young man using it as a drum, which I'm pretty sure it's intended to be.
Biggins takes ball 1. There's the bunt. Chris. Nice play. If he's right-handed, that's a base hit.
Excellent play by Chris Sale, who does field his position well. You know, for a big guy, he got off the mound quickly. Didn't have really much of an angle, but he did throw it on the inside part of the bag and was able to retire Figgins, who, by the way, if he makes a throw where Figgins is now, that's going to be interference. Figgins would have been out.
And Joe West would have called him out. I learned the hard way on that one.
You learned running inside? You got hit in the back of the head?
Right in the back of the head. Elston Howard.
That's good.
Spring training. And
how'd that feel?
I don't know. Montero. I swung and hit one a little bit like Figgins did right there, and I'm running way inside the line. And boy, I tell you, he just reared back and hit me right in the back of the head. Point. There's the strike. Montero. He's 1 for 2. He had an infield single.
Well, don't look now. Remember that big lead that the Texas Rangers had, seemingly insurmountable at one point? Well, they've lost 4 in a row. And the Angels have won 9 of their last 10, and they're only 3.5 games in back of the Rangers. We thought before it was over it'd be Rangers Angels, and that's how it's going to work out.
Yeah, it's a website.
Well, Angels have a good starting staff, real good starting staff. One of the keys right now is going to be the back hip problem of Jared Weaver.
But Albert Pujols has started to hit. So has everybody else.
Well, he's going to hit. Everybody knew that. They knew that was just a matter of time. Talking with Adam Dunn about it, he said, Hawkins, you haven't seen much of him, have you? I said, no, just on highlights. He said, I'll tell you, the guy's unbelievable. They said he is absolutely unbelievable how good he is.
And he's been that way since the day he stepped in the major leagues. And all it took was a firing of Mickey Hatcher to turn him around.
Jesus, Montero.
He gone. 2 down.
Another late breaking slider. And that's really the key to that. I mean, there's guys who throw a breaking ball that probably breaks that big. It just doesn't break that sharply or that late. And that's why it's close to unhittable for Chris Sale with 7 strikeouts and only the 1 walk.
Here's Smoke, a walk and a run scored, and a pop up to right field. Grabs a strike with that to even the count at 1. Minnesota leading Cleveland 3-0. That's in the bottom of the 4th at Progressive Field. Twins beat them last night 7-4.
Masterson going for the Indians. And surprisingly, he's got an ERA of 5.23. With some pretty good stuff.
Tells you he's just getting the ball up. Because when he keeps it down, when he's from the thigh down, sometimes he can be almost unhittable.
He has been many times, but he would prefer a more right-handed hitting lineup than the Twins will throw out there against him.
So there is the second walk issued by Sale, both coming to Smoke, and here is Ackley, who's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Outfield straight up for Dustin. Two and 0 the count. This is the guy you want right here. And he got him. Adam. And that'll retire the side. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. It is 4-2. Good guy. Lights and get analysis from our Chuck and Bill. Also the big hurt Frank Thomas. So plus, we're live to Robin Ventura's post-game remarks. Don't miss Galaxy White Sox post-game live immediately following the game on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Get a new pitcher, Lucas Litke. 1-0. On for the 20th time. So he's been the left-handed specialist mostly. 19 appearances previously, 11 in the third innings. And we did see him yesterday. I guess we saw just about everybody yesterday. He came on, walked one man, and was taken out of the ball game.
Well, we mentioned we have an off day tomorrow. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it's the Blue Jays as this 9-game homestand continues. After them, it'll be Houston for 3. So while we have an off day tomorrow, after the game today, the Mariners will board their charter, head on out to Anaheim. 3 with the Halos. Here's Gordon. Had a big hit in the 4th. RBI single. Set up that 2-run 4th inning. 4-8-0 for us, 2-3-0 for them. Gordon now in this series 7 RBIs. Outfield spread out.
Talked to Gordon about having his folks at the game, and he said, you know, sometimes you press a little bit, you want to do so well that it just doesn't work out quite as well for you. He said, but first game his folks were here.
There they are.
Hit a 2-run homer.
Sully on the right.
And 2 homers.
And Gordon Jr. on the left. That's Gordon the third right there with the bat in his hand. It's 3-1. Pops him up. So 1 out. So here's Adam Dunn. 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a run scored. Oh, that reminds me of my mom. When I was a kid with Kansas City, I was in a horrible slump. She drove up from Savannah to Kansas City. And we were playing the Tigers, and they had Navarro pitching.
Julio Navarro?
Yeah. Big curveball.
Yep.
And I hit 2 home runs that day. And so she stayed there for a few days and did okay after the 2 home runs. Then she went back to Savannah. And all of a sudden I went into another slump. So Charlie Finley called Ed Lopez, who was the manager, and said, bench him. So I sat down for about a week. And my mom called Charlie Finley up and said, look, if you're not going to play my son, you send him home to me. Finley's the one that told me the story. He said, your mom called, said, you're not going to play him, send him home to me. 2-1. Adam, that big leadoff walk into third, came around to score on the base hit by Alex. Alex Rios, 2 RBIs today, if you're just joining us. And a full count. Tanks on deck.
18, right.
Ryan cuts in front of Ackley. And that is 2 down.
I think one of the big thrills for any player who's fortunate enough to have his parents come and see him at a major league ballpark during a major league game because mostly those parents were the ones that took him to all those Little League games and Pony League games before he was able to drive a car. They put in all the time. They took him to coaches and did whatever they could to spend as much time, a lot of money in some instances, to get him to this level, and they get a chance to see him at the pinnacle, which is just great.
Yeah. My mom was a single parent. They were divorced when I was 8. She worked and she made $56 a week, and we'd have a game, and as soon as she got off work, she drove right to the ballpark. Two and 0. That's chopped over our dugout.
So my mother and dad would go to a game. I don't know why my mother ever paid for a seat, because if I was pitching, she never used it. She walked around the entire ballpark as long as I was in the game. She
Really?
never sat down. She couldn't. She couldn't sit down and watch.
And the count 3-1. Well, you know, superstitious.
Yep. I think the Tank, if he gets one here in the zone, you're looking at a 5-2 game. But let's see if the young left-hander will cooperate.
Went right through it. Ball 4 base hit, Tank. So the 2-out walk, and that'll bring up Alex, who's 2 for 3, as I mentioned, with those 2 RBIs. Boy, it is nice to see Rios back.
Oh, he's really started to heat it up, and what's been happening is he started his hot streak by hitting the ball to right center field. Then the American League pitchers made an adjustment. They started coming inside. He started hitting the ball out of the park and left. And now he's back to taking it up the middle and to right center if they stay away. Pretty good plan.
Take strike 1.
And Alex thinking that ball was a little high.
One and 1 to count. Marlins beat the Phillies 5-1. And that's out of play right side. Zambrano 4-3 with a 2.81. Well, we figured he was going to pitch very well for Ozzie.
Yeah, he resurrected his career nicely. And they got him for very little. Volstead has come up. Now he's in the minor leagues, but they picked up, the Cubs that is, picked up almost the entire salary, sending him to Florida. And the Miami Marlins are beneficiaries of it.
There's a chopper to Hopper. Over to second for the force. And that'll retire the side. After 6, it is 4-2 White Sox.
Now it's time for our Illinois Lottery Anything's Possible replay, and it comes off the bat of Jim Thome. He takes it deep to center field. It hits into the concession area, and it was measured at 464 feet, the 5th longest White Sox home run in this ballpark ever. And then he gets a plaque commemorating that day. June 4th, 2009. Jim Thome, who almost duplicated that feat in that game 163 against Minnesota to win 1-0.
Nick Blackburn. As Olivo hits that one high into center field. And let's check out the longest home run hit here by Joe Borchard.
Sounded like it was shot out of a cannon. Onto the concourse. 504 feet. Wow.
So here's Saunders. 1 for 2, a double into left center field. Fakes the bunt. And takes the ball. Joe Borchard, what a sweet guy he was. He is.
Well, they got us Matt Thornton, didn't he?
Yeah, sure did. Get over there. And he will. Yeah, Joe could run, switch hitter, and just couldn't get over the hump.
And that's the art of scouting. And by the way, the draft comes up between the 4th and the 6th. We picked 13th in the first round this year. The last time we had the 13th pick, it turned into Chris Sale. Although they're not expecting quite that much success out of the 13th pick, they'll still be a pretty decent player there. And how do you know, the art of scouting is something that's really interesting because it's tough to put an exact measurement on it. But look, Joe Borchard had everything. How do you know if this guy is going to take those few steps that he's going to need to become a star or not?
You know, it's rolling the dice. I do know one thing. The worst draft choice in baseball, taking number 1, is a high school pick. That's the worst draft choice you can have, and history will tell you that. But we have that in very capable hands with Doug Lallman. He's done a good job. Man on the mound right there is one of his picks.
Gordon Beckham.
Gordon Beckham is one of his picks.
That was the 8th pick in the first round.
Well, everybody was just shocked that he went down to 8. Gordon on the move. Gun, yes! The strong arm of Gordon Beckham, a beautiful play. And that'll retire the side. 7th inning stretch. We lead it 4-2. Mercy. Orlando Hudson gets set to lead it off here in our half of the 7th inning. 4-8-0 for our guys, 2-3-0 for their guys. Hudson's been to the plate twice. And that ball hit well into left center field, but Saunders got it. I tell you, the more you see this guy, Saunders, he's just 25 years old. He's got some talent.
He's smooth. He can go get him. And when Gutierrez was here, we saw him in left field quite a bit. Looks to me like he's a natural in center field.
And at the plate, just 25.
Yeah,
can do what he can do.
Strong enough, certainly, and a big kid.
Alexei. Seattle not that far away offensively. Now they got a ways to go with defense, which pitching is the first line of defense. Oh, 0-2 the count. Alexei 1 for 3. And that's out there. It's going to hang up for Saunders. So 2 down. And you want a fantastic White Sox experience? Check out the Comcast Fundamentals deck at US Cellular Field. You can interact with White Sox trainers, run the bases at the wiffle ball diamond, and test your swing at the batting cages. So you're always at the center of the action with Xfinity, only from Comcast. Here's Tyler. He's 1 for 3 with a run scored. There's a bullet. That's going to be a humpback line drive out there. Watch out, Sean. Hope you get your cup on, buddy.
Might have been humpback, but it went out there with something on it.
I'll tell you what.
That ball almost ate Figgins up.
I know it.
And he's 290 feet away from home plate. Well, Tyler can hit the ball hard.
He is a big, strong man. We probably got the 2 biggest catchers in all of baseball, AJ and Tyler.
Yep.
So here's Escobar, a walk and 2 singles and a run scored. Takes ball 1.
Chris Sale's given up just 3 hits in 7 innings. Leads 4-2. Would like to get a little bit more, but right now he's accomplished exactly what Robin wanted him to accomplish. He's gotten the game, so there's only 6 outs to cover. Not saying that he's leaving anytime soon, because it doesn't appear that he is, but we certainly needed a long performance out of Chris Sale today, and that's exactly what's happened.
And he knew it.
Yep.
And the count 3-0. With Lillibridge on deck. Yeah, we're getting back to the draft. We've got the 8th, 13th rather, and the 48th picks. As there's a strike. And that draft is so subjective. I mean, it's just really, it's just like rolling the dice. You do all your homework, you do all your due diligence, everything. All of a sudden, you got to make a decision. And lately, the Sox have been making some real good decisions. There for a long time, we made some real bad decisions.
Well, look, there's a couple of problems. There isn't a consensus number 1 this year like there's been in years past. And it's not all that deep a draft like it's been in years past.
Well, you know, as that's fouled away, Kenny is in most clubs, not all, but I would say over 50% of the clubs look to take the best player available regardless of the position.
Yeah, that's exactly what Kenny told me just the other day.
And Kenny's going to do, he's been that way. He wants to take the best player regardless of the position. Now, if you find some place that somehow they slip through the cracks, maybe a good pitcher, and yet there's a good position player that may be a little higher on the list, sometimes you might roll the dice and take the pitcher, because everybody is looking to load up if it's a weak draft on pitching. And hopefully they can get one or two out of there down the road.
Stanford has Mark Appel. He's going to be drafted up there. LSU has Kevin Gausman. San Francisco has Kyle Zimmer.
And there's ball 4, so a perfect day for Escobar. 2 walks, 2 base hits, 1 run scored. And here comes Lillibridge. I know in '86, when the draft came up, it wasn't not a strong draft, and we just went mostly all pitching. And we came up with Scott Radinsky, and then a couple of other guys later on who made it to the big leagues, which turned out to be, you know, a decent draft. But a lot of times, the club will call somebody and say, look, you've got number 14. We're sitting at 23. If you take 14, then we're going to do this for you, that for you. Or give you Steve Stone, or give you Jimmy Jones, or Sammy Smith. Because that's fouled away.
Be nice to pick up one here and give Chris Sale just a little more breathing room.
Lillibridge had that single, bounced up the middle in the first inning. He walked with the bases loaded in the second. He struck out in the fourth, and he struck out in the fifth. That ball hit high in the right field. Wrong man. Makes the catch. We have completed 7, and we lead it 4-2. And get Chicago Sports News Nightly on Sportsnet Central, presented by AT&T U-verse. Coming up tonight at 6:30, White Sox and Mariners recap, and a look around the American League Central. So join Mark Shanowski for Sportsnet Central, presented by AT&T U-verse, tonight at 6:30 only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Chris Sale gave up that 2-run homer, a mammoth blast, 448 feet. Miguel Olivo in the second inning. 4-9-0 for our guys, 2-3-0 for their guys. Brendan Ryan, has gone out to center and popped up to right.
And always a thought of a bunt from Brendan Ryan.
First pitch strike. Minnesota leading Cleveland 3-2, top of the 6th in Cleveland. 0-2 the count.
Twinkies need a few more. That bullpen is less than overwhelming.
Pulls it up high. And he hits it.
Chris Sale has had quite a day today. And here's some of the highlights. Just a terrific slider gets Ackley. And of course another slider gets Ackley. And that one gets Liddy. And that one gets Montero. It's been that kind of a day. 7 strikeouts. He's given up just 3 hits.
As Bunnett pops it up. And Tyler is there. Thank you very much. So Ichiro now 0 for 4.
And that's terrific. There's 4 outs to go in the game. Ichiro trying to get on to bring a tying run to the plate. And on the first pitch, he makes a common mistake. Dropping the head of the bat, leaving before he makes contact, and he's an easy out.
So that'll bring up Sean Figgins. Sean went out to center. Struck out. Tried to bunt. And Sale got him on a good play. Higgins taken all the way. And the count 0-1. That was pitch number 98. And the count 0-2.
And the bullpen up once again. It's Sean Kelly, the man we beat on Friday night in the opening game of the series.
And that's into left field. And there is Escobar. Eduardo. A nice easy 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th, leading by 2.
To you by Miller Lite, and it's our Miller moment. And it comes courtesy of Gordon Beckham, who in the 4th inning drove this ball into left field. At the time, untying it, making it a 3-2 game. It sits at 4-2. And Gordon's folks ecstatic with this series. It's been a great one for him. And Sean Kelly coming in after the 13th time. He's 0-2, ERA and even 3. The runs he gave up on Friday night were all unearned, but runs nonetheless, and that's one of his 2 losses.
Yeah, he actually had some pretty good stuff against us. Beckham, Dunn, and Viciedo here in the bottom of the 8th. 4-9-0 for our guys, 2-3-0 for their guys.
Here's our Home Depot doing more on defense, and it's once again Gordon Beckham. Watch how far on the third base side of second base he is before he gets his square.
Boy, he has got a good arm. Wow.
And don't forget, for you youngsters at home, when you're using your pick to click, defense counts as much as offense.
It does.
Don't forget that.
In fact, if Steve had his way, it would count more than offense.
Well, today, yes, absolutely. Jose Quintana loosening up in the pen.
Fouls it back just underneath Steve. That one at 93, and that's out number 1. So here is Adam. He is 0 for 2 with 2 walks and a run scored. Shift is on. And the fastball outside. Count evens at 1 to Biggin. And a reminder, have you seen the White Sox Dynamic Ticket Deal of the Week? Will enjoy a variety of price options for specific games and seating locations. The best tickets in the best locations directly from the White Sox. Buy early and save. Buy early and save with the White Sox dynamically priced tickets. Visit whitesox.com/pricing.
And for both teams, the last base hit collected was the 5th inning.
So Kelly comes on, strikes out Beckham and Dunn. And here is Tank. Takes first pitch strike. Tank is 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the hand, hit pretty hard, and he also drew a walk.
And one thing we've seen from Seattle, they do have some pretty good arms in their pen.
You better believe it.
They get guys who can get it up there and guys with good stuff overall.
Well, you look at Felix. Noesi's got a good arm. He's just got to learn. He's got to take his lumps before he learns. Vargas is a heck of a good pitcher. He's got a terrific changeup. They're not that far away, really, if they can come up with a couple of guys on the bump to get to these good arms in the pen.
I think there's a few folks out there would love to have Charlie Furbush as a left-handed specialist.
He's coming along very good.
He really is.
Yeah.
Made a huge jump since coming over from Detroit.
3-1. Yeah, Seattle's not that far away.
Big problem is the two teams are going to have to hop over in the West, and that's always going to be Texas. And I would be very surprised if they kept Josh Hamilton. That's going to be a very difficult decision for Nolan Ryan and John Daniels.
It's going to be interesting. That ball hit hard. Stretch. Saunders back on the track right in front of the patio area, hauls it in. He just missed it. Meanwhile, we'll go to the 9th. 4-2 White Sox. 4-9-0 for us, 2-3-0 for them, and just the way Abner designed it. Their 3rd, 4th, and 5th place hitters coming up to face Chris Sale, who's trying to finish it off. Montero 1 for 3. Takes ball 1.
Get the bullpen up and going just in case Chris Sale needs some help.
And a reminder, follow our White Sox with the MLB.com @BAT12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit WhiteSox.com for details. Good breaking ball. And the count 1-2. That was pitch number 104. Last time out threw 115 pitches.
And 15 Ks.
2-2. Dustin Smoke on deck. Dustin Ackley in the hole. That's trouble. Got a breaking ball rolling. So Escobar gets over, cuts it off, gets it back in, holds him to a single. Meanwhile, leadoff man aboard.
That's a real good play by Escobar in left field, because that could have easily been 2 bases. Now you keep the double play in order with Smoke, who doesn't run well.
Smoke is 0 for 1 with a couple of walks. That one walk leading off the 2nd inning, and he scored. Takes first pitch, strike. Outfield straight up. Spread out about equidistance. Maybe a itsy bitsy gap out there in left center. All right, boys. Rack 'em up. 2 down.
And that's why that play was so important. Because other than that, it wouldn't be 1 out away. A real easy 5-4-3. And turn it when you have a chance to turn it. Gordon Beckham is going to get the throw off regardless. And they got the double play by plenty.
So here is Ackley. Fouls it back. And there's a base hit. Up out over the plate, and that'll bring up the man who hit that mammoth home run off Chris in the 2nd inning, Miguel Olivo. And if you missed that home run, watch this.
Well, a few mistakes today. A fastball down to a dead low ball fastball hitter. 448 feet later, it was a 2-0 game.
Ball goes around the plate. They were not holding him on, so that's indifference. Goes through it. 1-1 to count. That at 93. One and 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out here in the top of the 9th. Man is second. Sox lead at 4-2.
One good low slider might do it.
Especially if he took just a little bit off. Oh, yes. No, he fouled it. Dadgummit.
Our Menards pitch tracks. This is that slider. It's down, and Olivo just able to get a top seam.
Foul ball.
Well, Tyler was scrambling. He wanted to get out there and get it if he had to go through Olivo to get it. But unfortunately, the spin brought it back. Another breaking ball down. This ball is fair for a bit, but then spins back. He reached back and got everything he had left on that fastball. But normally when you do that, it goes exactly as this one did. Way up and out of the zone.
And that is just foul. That ball was hit hard.
Tyler now coming out, telling him exactly what he wants to do. Probably saying, okay, we don't need a sign. You know where you have to throw it. Get it there and get him out and get us home. The 8th pitch of the at-bat, as Miguel Olivo is not going down easily.
There was a changeup.
Had him fooled, caught it off the end of the bat as he was out ahead of it, but fouled it off again.
He gone, and this ball game is over. Sox win it 4-2, take the rubber match. Chris Sale gave us exactly what we needed, Steve.
This was just an outstanding performance by Chris Sale. He went the distance. He kept the bullpen out of action. You got the day off tomorrow to let him regroup. Chris Sale, who's got a very good chance of making the All-Star game, if this continues at all, was the American League Pitcher of the Month in May and showed you why right here today.
All right, our GMC player of the game is our 23-year-old southpaw, picking up his 7th victory of the season against just 2 losses, Chris Sale. So for my partner Steve Stone, our director Jim Angio, our producer Mike Leary, our associate producer Dave Ross, our technical manager Mark Harper, the executive producer Jim Cornell Jr., also for the mayor Mean Joe Groob, and up here in the booth Mike Mayer, Jimmy Tiana, the Greek, Steve Markowski, Dennis Wood down in sound. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, now part of the NBC Sports Group. Yes!